Hello, guys. I think we all might agree on the fact that for the last couple of years, and since the beginning of blockchain industry, we didn't have too much practical cases where we can use the usage of blockchain in real life, a part of some technical geeks and financial guys. Of course, you can buy a couple of pizzas for cryptocurrency. You can save some money on your crypto wallet and hide it from your girlfriend or boyfriend. You may buy an NFT and put it on a social network, but apart of that, not too much cases. But this year, for the first time of blockchain industry, it helped so many people and helped so many communities all over Ukraine during the full-scale war. My name is Kyrylo Bondar, and today we will be speaking about story. We will tell you a story how blockchain saved real lives in Ukraine. And the people on the stage are those who made the story real. And they are still supporting Ukraine and making it more sustainable and helping it to win. So please welcome Iryna Lorens, Dima Budorin, and Ilya Polosukhin. So the first question is obvious. How did you come to the idea of making the crypto fund and make it, directed helping Ukrainians? And what is the big idea behind that? Because Ukraine being held by European Union, Americans, and all over the world, the other nations were coming.
So for me, the story, I was in New York actually, and kind of when the war started, right, calling the people I know, figuring out that they're safe, figuring out what we do, but at the same time it was like, okay, what can we do to help, right? And there was a few different efforts that existed before to help with kind of in Ukraine, because to be clear, there's been war from 2014, and the kind of, if you think of it, donate, okay, want to donate, want to help, you look and you see like banking routing numbers, and you're like, well, given the war just started, we have no idea if that bank will actually exist tomorrow, right? Plus, it's banking. It takes, easily 2 weeks if we're talking about cross-border transaction. So like by that time, we again have no idea if where the world will be. And so the question was like, we have crypto, it's instant settlement, it's global. How can we do this now? And so there was a number of crypto entrepreneurs that came together that were kind of, we can actually pull money from the crypto industry, including ours, and kind of use that to donate to the different NGOs and efforts on the ground. And that's been kind of the origin. The idea that you can just set up a multisig, it takes 5 minutes, across all the networks, it took 15 minutes. And so multisig is ability for multiple people to kind of come together to a decision that they want to spend money on different efforts. And now we have an NGO, right? We have a organization that's targeted with a specific kind of idea to help people in Ukraine. And if you compare this to a traditional way of setting up things, right, it can take you easily half a year, and you will need to set up a bunch of legal stuff, you need to bank account, you need to figure out the governance of that to kind of match the same thing. So we have a technology now to do this. Now the next step was to distribute it. And so again, we can convert it to fiat. That takes time. Then we send fiat. And for some things, you still need to do it, to be clear. Like there was a lot of things that needed to be bought that were only bought by fiat. But at the same time, there's people on the ground who could receive crypto and pay with crypto. And again, this allowed us to move really quickly. And I think Iryna can share more about the actual numbers.
Yeah, yes. Give us numbers, because the numbers, they define something. Yeah. Give us numbers about people being helped, how many money been raised, how fast it was delivered to those who need that money.
So first of all Ukrainians funds have raised almost $100 million donations using cryptocurrencies in the first 2 months. So the help was really delivered really quickly to Ukrainians. And within this time, we had no options to do nothing, actually. So for example, in Unchained Fund, all their infrastructure team, all the requests from users and the first aid were launched within 72 hours after the Russian innovation. So that incredibly quickly, and that's possible only because of blockchain technologies. So crypto helped us not only to raise money, also to buy different stuff abroad. So for example, in the first few days, that was quite important for our volunteers to order bulletproof vests from all over the world, and also this tourniquet to stop bloods. And that was important to buy abroad. And if you have crypto, it's quite easy to pay without any fiat or banking restrictions. Also, when we are talking about crypto, it helps to keep transparency, because actually we can track any transaction, we can track all the spendings also with our multi-sig solution. So people, it's actually like DAO, where people can vote for some spendings.
Yeah, let me elaborate on that, because that's a good point. With humanitarian projects and funds, the transparency is something which really matters, and in many cases that's a problem. How do you ensure that the funds you collected get to the right people? They are not lost, and they are delivered to the, to the last point. How do you ensure that?
So our Unchained fund team and our solution were based on the Weld Money technology. So what is that? It's actually the card, Unchained Health card. It is direct aid to the people. So for example, our main target is to help women with children from the, let's say, most destroyed territory of Ukraine. And with our solution, we can verify the person, we can prove that this is a woman and she has, for example, 2 kids. And also we can issue Unchained Help card within 15 minutes and transfer this donation to like a direct distribution to this card within 1 week. So for each person, that's $25. And it's really like a fast help, because when you lost anything, you need to buy some basic food, water.
So what you're saying is, at any point of time, you can give me the list of children, mother, families, and communities which you helped, and this is available like almost online in real time. Is that the case?
Yeah,
Yes.
it's on the website. There's a full transparency report with all the transactions that are happening.
Dima, I know that your team been going through difficult times in Ukraine, and I'm pretty sure that the guys who are in crypto industries, they know how to use crypto to help their families and their teams.
Yep.
Was there any specifics about, helping teams in Ukraine?
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, well, I will tell about 3 practical things that blockchain kind of helped to save lives. So our team, we decided to move from Ukraine 10 days before the war, and we met the war in Europe, but our families were still there. And first thing that we did is that we donated around 250K first month. And the thing was that we were donating to the people, and that was very fast. We were donating to families, we were donating to those who went to army, buying them all the needed stuff. And if we were not a crypto native company and we had these funds on our, let's say, bank accounts, we would have much more problems to send the money. So we had it in crypto, we had it off balance sheet. So we made like immediate decisions, and that was very fast. Second thing is that first days of the war, the USDT, so-called stable coin, the price of it was like 1.1, 1.15 per dollars per 1 USDT. And the main reason was because people were so scared of Russians coming into their houses and stealing their cash, and there was no basically belief in any institutions that can support. So people were just going and buying USDT and exchanging the USD cash and so on. And the third thing that we did, there were a lot of people from our circle who has lost jobs, who has lost business, who has lost hope, and we made an educational program to our, again, closest circle, to learn some basic crypto stuff, how you can make at least $50 per day, doing some simple work for other communities. So yeah, it's been
Sounds
so
great,
important.
but I think bankers will hate you because crypto get more values than the normal cash on accounts. So I think this is not very good for the bankers. But guys, how do you distinguish about helping army and helping civilians? Did you make any distinguishment between donating for the army and civilians?
Yeah, so the kind of so far been raised $178 million in crypto, and about 50-50 actually is split between army, like helping army, and helping humanitarian kind of efforts, right? So Unchained Fund specifically focused only on humanitarian efforts. It was kind of by design because there was already Come Back Alive specifically, which did accept Bitcoin, where, for example, I sent my personal donation. But at the same time, knowing a lot of people on the ground, understanding how kind of bad the situation, or even in the first day was, but will be kind of evolving, it was pretty clear that there needs to be more help in humanitarian, and it's expected that government and kind of related organizations will be focused on army because that's their function to defend the country. And so for us, it was really important to we have friends, we have family, we have people we know one way or another who will be in this dire situation because they lost their home. There's no water, there's no electricity. You need all these efforts. Plus, there's huge medical issues across the board. So kind of that needed its own source, and we see kind of a pretty big effort across the board for that. And there's a lot more people, I would say, also wanna kind of fund that and kind of independent of helping army, right? Because some people have different kind of understanding what help needed.
Guys, I think we all would like to hear some funny stories or interesting stories like celebrities helping Ukraine by staying behind. We don't want to show their names, or maybe people from Russia donating for Ukraine and trying to stay behind the scene. Can you elaborate on that and give us some interesting facts?
Yeah.
Absolutely. If not crypto, those Russians who want to help, they won't be able to help at all, because if imagine sending from your bank account, you probably go to jail. So, and another story is that some crypto celebrities who didn't want to, again, his closest circle to know that he's donating to the army, not to the, to civilians, to the army. They were using privacy tools like Tornado Cash to make these donations, and this is absolutely amazing.
Guys, we're living on a planet of almost 8 billion people, and it's definitely we're going to face more wars coming, unfortunately. Pandemic, natural disasters. If we were to be thinking about Ukraine as a use case, how can we help communities and other countries to tackle those problems? I mean, it's going to be an earthquake in any other country. How would we be, practically useful for those communities and countries? Can you give some advices
Sure.
how to tackle those problems?
So if you're talking about our case with Unchained Help Card, this case drew attention other top traditional charity funds, because actually that's a super simple idea, and you can track all their analytic and statistics. So now with Weld Money and Unchained, we build a platform where you can run your own charity campaign, similar to an advertisement campaign, like in Facebook, for example. So for example, let's imagine that there is some flood, and after that you can set up the campaign where you just choose the target audience, the region, the age group, and you top up the funds, for example, in crypto, and our system collects the request, verifies the people. After that, it issues Unchained Help Card and distributes direct financial help to people in the size and periodicity that you have chosen before. So it's like a game changer in the whole charity system. And I think this solution could be provided to other countries because it's clear analytics. You can see in which country and what kind of purchases categories your funds are used.
Great. Ukraine is well known for its tech. Sorry for saying that. I have to make some advertising. And for its blockchain industry, definitely. If we would be dreaming about Ukraine after the war, after the victory, how would you dream about Ukraine blockchain, about Ukraine crypto? Will we be able to build a new country like DAO or something like that? Let's have a couple of seconds of dreaming.
So the things that are already happening now, first of all, is education. There is actually a number of efforts on the ground in Ukraine to educate people both on how to use crypto, like a lot of different actually blockchain companies are doing efforts partnering with government. And the idea is like, just Ukraine is already like top 3 right now by the crypto adoption, and that is like a pretty sizable percentage of the population is already aware. But like, how do we bump it up? How do we make sure everyone who has access to internet is already on blockchain? The second one is Ukraine have been the developer powerhouse of the world, to be clear. Like a lot of the products, even if you're using them and you think they're American company or European company, they actually built in Ukraine. Hotels.com, Booking.com, a lot of blockchain projects as well. And so what we see right now, because sadly, a lot of those companies that were using kind of Ukrainian service providers are actually need to stop their contract because their policy does not allow to work with a company that is in a war zone. These companies, including developers individually, are starting to work on Web3 because Web3 doesn't care. Like nobody in blockchain cares where you are, who you are, but it is like a completely open, completely like permissionless platform. And so we see more and more developers coming in and building new applications. And so kind of the number of startups that are starting in Ukraine, like already was, there's hundreds of startups in Ukraine even before the war, and we see kind of more and more developers and projects starting. Yeah. So generally speaking, I think we'll see like a huge emergence of both technology, developers, and usage from Ukraine and kind of contributing to rebuilding the country.
Sounds promising. Dima, maybe a couple of dreams from you.
Yeah, my dream is that right now we are helping like to win in the war, and the next phase will be helping to reconstruct, to rebuild. And my dream is that every single, city in Ukraine will have a fund, or I don't know, even maybe a token that people all over the world will be able to donate for reconstruction and go and then visit this city and see exactly where the funds were used for and enjoy beautiful Ukraine.
Thank you. We're running out of time. Thank you for being with us. Stay strong and be brave like Ukraine. Thank you.